What's up, everyone? I'm Brandon Morey, and this is the Max Loves Midland Show.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Max Loves Midland Show. I'm your weekly tour guide, Kevin LeDuc, and we are so excited to be back in the studio here at JNC Media. Over the summer, we've been having a lot of fun with Max Loves Midland. So many great events have been added to the calendar, and something new starting this week with this episode. We will also be on radio. So shout out to our friends listening on radio on WSGW. We are so happy to have you along for the ride. If you are new to Max Loves Midland, make sure you check out everything we have to offer at maxlovesmidland.com. And I have to say, I'm always excited to record an episode, but this is the first time I've walked into the studio and had pastries. And for those of you listening and not watching, they're absolutely gorgeous. So my friend Brandon's here. So Brandon, you want to tell me a little bit about these pastries and where these came from?
Yeah, so I own Iron Dame Baked Goods. It's a downtown bakery, French-inspired. We specialize in laminated doughs. So this is 27 layers of butter and dough.
Absolutely amazing. It's delicious. And how long have you been serving these beautiful things?
So for the better part of 5 years, but officially in a brick and mortar, a year and a half.
Amazing. And I know we're going to talk all about your business today and more than just Iron Dame as well. We're going to talk about Crepes Et Amis. We're going to talk about Enjoy Bakery. We're going to talk about our dreams for the future. And we're also going to talk about the Downtownsend Terrace crowdfund. There's a ton on the docket today. But my first question is, when you were younger, did you have in your mind that you were going to own a bakery one day? Was that ever on your radar?
No. In fact, when I was younger, I made ramen a lot. That was pretty much the culinary expertise that I had. When I was younger, I actually dual enrolled to be a nurse. I was a nursing student for the better part of 4 years until I got married.
Well, hey, it's a good thing you have some of that training because now this food can take some people the other way, depending on if it's misused too much.
Right. Yeah, I can help them through a diabetic coma.
So you're originally from where?
I'm originally from Columbiaville.
Tiny little town, Lapeer County.
Yep, Lapeer County.
What was growing up like for you? Like, what kind of stuff were you into, and what were some of your activities that you took part in?
Oh, man. So I was a big skater. In my teen years, I was a big skater, always outside. So
what brand were you riding?
Enjoy. All right. Funny.
Were those the ones with the panda?
Yeah, those were the ones with the panda. Yeah.
Super sweet.
Because they made ones wide enough.
Yeah,
I like the 8s.
The Costins, and everyone was rocking those, and all the sneakers, and it was like such a movement, and you don't really see a lot of that anymore. And I know there's still skateboarders around. You see them go down to the skate park here in Midland and riding around town, but it feels like that kind of pop culture moment isn't quite the same as it used to be, and it's not quite grabbing people like it was grabbing us, but we were around in the Tony Hawk era and Jackass and Viva La Bam and all of these like strange icons that were also crossover pop culture figures. Yeah. Super bizarre how it was taking over. So.
That's wild, yeah. I was huge into snowboarding too. So Shaun White. I think Shaun White was about the same age.
Oh, yeah.
I was, yeah.
And he was dual. Like he was riding skateboards too.
Yeah, he was
too.
Big skateboarding and snowboarding.
Getting golds in both.
Yeah, get it all out of the way. You got your winter sport and summer sport.
Where were your spots where you're snowboarding at?
So funny story, Mount Holly. That's actually where I got the scar on my face.
Okay.
Yep. Snowboard landed on me and I kept at it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Mount Holly's a little underrated because people think because it's Metro Detroit that folks can't go get a ride in. But to be completely honest, it's still a great spot to go hit, and a huge population base lives there. So there's all sorts of folks on the mountain at all times still.
That's great. That's great. Mount Holly. Then Cabernet, of course. And we still get, what are they called? Season passes to Cabernet. So we'll be doing that this year with the kids. They're really bugging me about it. My middle son wants a new snowboard, so we'll have to do that.
Is your wife Katie? Does she ski, snowboard?
So she snowboards. I think she wants to get back into skiing though. She's not having as much fun snowboarding.
Skiing, I feel like when I got older and I skateboarded when I was younger. And I wasn't the most skillful. It was a lot for the poser mentality. I wanted to wear Element t-shirts and look sweet with the partogram and the BAM stuff, but. As I got older and got a little more into winter sports and started appreciating winter more, I was playing basketball in high school, so that takes all your time in the winter. But I got into skiing instead of snowboarding, and I just based it on risk mitigation. I was like, I used to ice skate when I was younger, so I could throw the skis on, but my girlfriend's a snowboarder, and she is 15 times cooler than me.
Oh man, yeah, snowboarding still.
And she can shred the mountains. So.
I love it, yeah. I have to take it a little bit easier now. blew out my knee snowboarding a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, this is 40, right? I'm not even 40 yet.
So all that time on that icy mountain probably drove you into wanting to make some good coffee and inspire people. But there's a long journey in between wanting to be a nurse and then all of a sudden opening up French-inspired bakery, restaurant, crepe spot. So I want to hear about that in-between time. What drove you to the initial idea of Crepes Et Amis?
So when we started, I had a business partner, and he was a very driven person. He was like, this is a fantastic idea. You need to do this. But to back it up a little bit, the whole idea, the whole concept that we had started with was my wife wanted a coffee shop. So, and this has been the thing with our marriage. My wife will say, I think this is a good idea. And I'm like, I think that's a great idea. Let's just do it. You know, throw caution to the wind. But she wanted this coffee shop. And then we had talked about it a little bit, and we had decided that a coffee shop's a great idea. Her concept was to have like these booths around that were featured different coffee drinks from areas around the world. So like you could have something from Brazil, Colombia, stuff like that. But we were like, okay, coffee shops do come and go, at least at that time. Yeah. So we needed something that was ours, something to kind of like a niche, right? So we started with crepe. Somebody was like, hey, you should start doing crepes. So I was like, all right, I'll try crepes.
It's like somebody that had watched Talladega Nights once and saw the crepes like joke that's in the movie. And they're like, yeah, really thin pancakes. Crepes. Yeah. You get thin pancakes. It'll be easy.
Yeah. No, that was it. It was, so I bought this. I went to Walmart and bought this $20 tabletop skillet. And then I went to Joann Fabrics, bought some dowels, screwed them together, and I still to this day don't know what the tea is called. We just call it a tea. There is an actual name for it. This is how bad I am. But this is like, yeah. So we made the tea and just started making crepes for our friends. And then that's where my buddy came in. He was like, hey, I think you could really give this would be a great business for you. So we partnered up, and we started the food truck together. He funded everything, and my wife and I were working the food truck for the first 2 years, and then we're like, I think it's time. We've got a good, solid following here in Midland, so that's what made us decide to go to Midland. So
it's such an untapped market. I think your spot was the first place I'd ever heard of specializing in crepes as a standalone business. What type of experience have you had with other crepe shops, state, regionally, nationally? Is this a popular thing in other areas, or?
So there's a few throughout the state of Michigan. There's one in Flint. I know there's definitely one in Frankenmuth, which they're fantastic. But it's a similar vibe to what we have, like coffee shop vibes, but we make crepes. So that's what we're focusing on. That's what we're going to give people, and then we'll still make some cool drinks while we're at it. But
one of my favorite things about your journey is that you're a true example of a grassroots business that goes through logical stepping stones to become a full-fledged spot, right? I mean, you start off as a farmers market feature, and then you have a standalone spot now on Townsend Street, and that journey is really special. And we've talked before about how did the farmers market play a role in your business and businesses, honestly?
Yeah. So currently, every single business that I have has had something to do with the farmers market. And honestly, my wife has to take the credit for that one. She was the one that was like, let's not start big, because if it were up to me, I would have went out, got $1 million loan, bought a building, and we would have been in massive amounts of debt, and I wouldn't have known what to do. Right. So she's got to take credit for that one. Take it easy, man. So, we started small. We actually, the very first day we did was at the Mount Pleasant Farmers Market, but we found way more success at the Midland Farmers Market. So every single one of my businesses, like I said, has had something to do with the Midland Farmers Market. In fact, Iron Dame is down there, right? Well, they're down there on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and same with Enjoy Bakery are down there on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Amazing. And that morphing, did the Business Alliance play a role in actually helping you become a standalone, or like were they supportive, and what did that look like for you?
Tremendously. So, I mean, I know a ton of people at the Midland Business Alliance, and the resources that they give us. That's fantastic, right? So I've been talking with Nicole about other business ideas that I have, and she's always like, she's so good about validating my crazy idea. So I'm like, we're going to keep this going. And
then you go home and your wife's like, wait.
Like, hey, chill out, man. We got to focus on this first. So Yeah, no, I love the Midland Business Alliance. We actually just signed up Enjoy today for the Midland Business Alliance.
So even as a Midland resident, I think the first time I ever spent time on Townsend Street was when Crepes Et Amis opened. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people probably have a similar storyline. What was the vibe of Townsend when you first started? And that was in what, 2015?
Yeah, 2015. So there was a brewing supply shop for home brewers there. In fact, when I was peeking through the windows, the girl that owns the brew supply shop walked outside, saw me, and she's like, "Do you want to take a look on the inside?" So she had a key. So she let me in, and I was like, and it was the first place we looked at. We kind of looked through the windows of other places, but didn't really have a realtor at the time. So she was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "It's a lot of blue in here." It was like Smurf blue all the way through, including the carpet.
What was it before?
Yeah.
Was it retail?
It's like a chocolate shop.
Okay.
I think it was a chocolate shop. Yeah. But of course that was like, I could see it in my head. That's the funny thing about when you like enter a space and stuff, you're like, oh, I could see that going there, that going there. Of course that evolved like 15 times before we landed on what we wanted to do. But just her letting me in, I was like, this is it. This is where we're going to be.
And that's Matt and Nicole at Michigan Brew Supply.
Matt and Nicole.
And they definitely match your vibe too. So
yeah.
You could definitely tell you're going to get along in that space. And they were a cool business because they started doing online orders, and then they became a storefront out of the need for a warehouse.
Yeah.
It's really similar to your journey of starting doing farmers market and then becoming a storefront. I like that younger business development looks different than it used to be. It used to be you start a storefront and then maybe we'll sell online eventually. Well, everything now is a different form of delivery, whether that's fast service delivery at a farmer's market or whether that is online delivery. And Townsend has really matched that vibe in different ways too.
Yeah. Yeah. Matt and Nicole definitely, it was cool what they did. And scaling is different nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Again, my wife, she's the smart one. I'm just here. I'm just a pretty face. I don't know. But yeah, she's great. She will help me simmer down, but she also is good, like with the ideas. And she's like, let's just plan it out. Let's get this in writing and maybe, don't try to jump with 2 feet ahead. But so she's been tremendous in that. And with that scaling, that was her idea too. Start small and then work your way up. And then even then, the spot that we found on Townsend wasn't huge. It's only 900 square feet. So it's like, and we haven't moved from it. Because that was another thing too, is like, do we move? Do we move, find a bigger space? Because that's one of the biggest complaints we have is it's just so small. But it's like, are we going to lose the vibe that we have if we move? That's always been the thing. So scaling up for me meant starting another business, I guess.
Now, before even all that, you get to Midland for a very specific reason, and you end up in Midland. And you coming from Columbiaville and graduating from Lakeville High School, for those unaware, that is an extremely small town in Lapeer County, but really close to Genesee County. And Lakeville High School is even closer to Genesee County, in between Otisville and Columbiaville there. And if you're unaware of these small town names that we're saying, they're just really small areas. Think about your outskirts in Gladwin County or your smaller towns in Clare County, and not as large as a Clare even.
Right.
So you're looking at a really small spot, and I imagine your journeys through Midland were primarily on your way to Mount Pleasant to go to Central Michigan University for something, or you said you actually had some friends in this area.
Yeah, so my best friend growing up, his family, his dad did car detailing for some of the what are they called, dealerships up here. Yeah. So they ended up moving up here. So I was up here a lot when he had moved up here. I think it was like I was 16 or 17 when he moved up here. And so I was up here a lot. And then when I graduated, I did a short stint at Northwestern Michigan College. I was there for like 6 months.
Like, I can't handle this.
So I was like, I gotta move back. So that was for a girl, actually. But I moved.
It's always for a girl.
It's always
Don't worry.
right? Yeah.
You're making good business decisions for a girl still. So I mean, hey,
exactly.
There
right?
you go.
No, we moved. I moved back in with my parents, and then he's like, I got this apartment over here in Midland, so I moved. It was Sylvan and Tucker Street is where I was living for like a year.
So right here in town, and you said you were commuting to Lake Orion?
I was commuting to Lake Orion, yeah. So I worked as a nurse's aide at a nursing home in Lake Orion, and I was driving. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive. Yeah.
There's at least one person listening to the show who drives that every day down to the Metro Detroit area, and they're and they just feel your pain as soon as you say that. Oh, it's my dad.
He makes the same drive every day. From Columbiaville to Royal Oak, it's an hour-and-a-half from his house.
Yeah,
he's doing it all the time. Yeah.
Shoot down 24.
Yeah.
And
he's like, this is life. You get time to think about things.
So what did you think about Midland when you were spending that time here and you moved here for a little bit? And what did that feel like as a young adult?
Well, I spent a lot of time at the skate park. A lot of time at the skate park. Midland's a cool little town. I don't think I appreciated it for what it was or for what it is back then. You know, it's like, I think the one thing I like about Midland and maybe other people, it's like small town vibes, but still big city feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's at least the way I feel. So it was the big city for me from where I was coming from in Columbiaville. Yeah. So yeah.
When you look at Midland, you mentioned the skate park, and that was a 25th anniversary gift from the Community Foundation to the community. And you know, obviously, anytime I get a chance to talk about the Community Foundation, I'll gladly do that. But even beyond that, we have so many different organizations that just make things happen in this town. The Loons have been here. They were officially named, I think it was in 2005 or 2006. So you're looking at the Loons have been here now for, 20 years. And, you're talking a town of 42,000 in the city limits and 80-some thousand in the county having a minor league baseball team. We also have a skate park. We had a mall in the early 90s when folks probably didn't expect us to get a mall.
Right.
And now that's on a rebound and having some sort of second birth and cool spots like yours, Crepes Et Amis. And that all happens because of the people and people making things happen here. Yeah. So an engaged farmers market, an engaged community that supports the farmers market. All of these things fit together in ways that I don't think people understand just how cool it is that we have what we have. And I think special is a word that gets overused quite often. And I'll hear people say it about Midland. And yes, it is special, but it's very intentional. These things have all been intentionally put here by people with vision, people with dreams, and folks that really care about this community. And that's what makes those things so freaking cool and so unique. And that skate park's still in incredible shape.
Right.
And Great your business is still functioning after 10 years, and you've added 2 more.
Yeah.
And that journey's been an incredible one as well. So what gave you the dream to go from just Crepes Et Amis to Iron Dame? Was it simply the scaling?
Honestly, it was, again, my wife. So you've probably been there. It takes a while. We make everything fresh. So at Crepes Et Amis, we make everything fresh, and we'll have waits of like an hour, hour and a half some days, like especially Saturdays. So we wanted to make things like hors d'oeuvres or things that we could get into people's hands quickly so that they had that instant gratification, because we just couldn't provide that, with just crepes alone. So, and even drinks take a little bit of time. You can wait 15, 20 minutes for a drink if there's a big line. So we started, we had a pastry chef who was our manager at the time. And so we started working with, I wanted to keep with the French theme. So we were like, let's do croissants. Let's do those type of pastries. So we worked on a couple recipes, started selling the pastries. Those took off. Then we went to the farmer's market again, because I was like, well, we'll see where this can go. We can sell what we have at the farmer's market. And we did the COVID hit, slowed things down, but 2022, we're doing this. We're going to go for it. And then finally in 2024, we opened up.
I love too that now as folks hear more about you through this interview and they're watching or listening and they heard you talk about skateboarding. Is those skateboards on the Iron Dame logo?
I wish. No, I'm not that clever. They're
it's a skull and crossbones, correct? But they kind of look like skateboards the way they come across.
So what it actually is a it's a pain au chocolat is the head. So it's a chocolate croissant.
Okay.
So they're called bâtons. It's a chocolate stick. So they're chocolate sticks that you see in the quintessential chocolate croissant that you would get.
Yeah.
And then it's rolling pins.
Okay.
So, and then a little Eiffel Tower nose.
Very cool. And you're really bringing that French flavor to Townsend Street for sure. Now that you got those 2 spots, and you mentioned the pandemic slightly. What was the pandemic like owning a business? And at that point in time, your business is 5 years old, and this is pre-Iron Dame. And what did the pandemic feel like for you as a business owner on Townsend, and then also just as a business owner as a part of Downtown Midland?
Yeah, so to answer the first part of the question, we did have to close for 2 months. That was wild because I've been working since I was 14, and then I'm just suddenly at home. And so we made videos with our kids. We did some like crazy videos, like mom and dad are going nuts and they think there's a restaurant in the middle of the yard and fun stuff like that. But we did spend a lot of good quality time with our kids. And then when it came time to open up, we started working with the food delivery services to start, because we couldn't have people come in right away. So it was like, we have to work with food delivery services. So that kind of kept us afloat. Being a part of Downtown Midland. So this is where I know it gets thrown around a lot, like we said. Midland is a special place. Midland helped keep our business afloat during that time. So our sales were record low, as most people's were. So the community was like, hey, we're going to help everybody out. Why don't we do this? Downtown Midland got a bunch of the businesses together. They sold gift certificates that couldn't be redeemed until, I think they started in March of, I forget what year, 2021 or something like that. They started in March, but you could buy the gift certificate, but you couldn't redeem it until June of that year. So you had 3 months of sales, like, just to float you. It was super cool. I mean, and then Josiah over at Red Threads, he did his whole campaign to help people out, and I did a video with him. That was fun. And he's a super progressive guy when it comes to like helping small businesses out and stuff like that. So he helped us tremendously, and he kind of rallied the troops for everybody. I don't think it was the I Am Midland campaign that he did. Was it that?
I think he was involved in that, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to quote it and be wrong.
Right.
But the I Am Midland campaign was right around that time too, which also gave a lot back to the community as well.
Yeah. And that's awesome. I still see people wearing those shirts.
Oh, I have one in my drawer right now.
It's awesome. Well, yeah.
And that was a cool program too. And as someone who lives downtown, we took part in that as well and bought certificates and able to use those later on. But it's just another innovative way for folks to be able to take care of businesses. And I think that as soon as the pandemic hit and we understood a lot of things were going to be closed, organizations went into action. Mm-hmm. And then obviously things were compounded by flooding as well in May of 2020. And just an absolute bizarre time for our community, which I think has really rallied back in an incredible way. Despite, like most places in the United States and world, changing right before our own very eyes. And we're so fortunate to have most of those businesses that unfortunately had to be paused during that time. And I like to think it's due to some really careful planning and consideration by people here in the Midland area to make sure that businesses were taken care of and we were supporting our local businesses in that time frame. And then just a couple years later, you open Iron Dame. What made you decide to go with such a different branding rather than doing a Crepes Et Amis extension?
So we were back and forth on that. Ultimately, I think when I opened Iron Dame, I saw scalability. I don't see it as much now, to be honest, but I saw scalability. I thought, okay, if we're ever going to do a second location for Crepes Et Amis, let's change the name to Iron Dame so it's easier to pronounce. Because even I still pronounce the name wrong, and I own the place, right? That's messed up.
So let's settle this right now. It's Crepes Et Amis, correct?
Crepes Et Amis, yeah.
And you say Crepes
Et Amis.
It's funny because I've been in conversations with people for the last few years, and I'll say Crepes Et Amis, and they'll say, no, Brandon says it like this. Yeah. He's the owner. So should we adopt your saying, or is it more proper to use Crepes Et Amis?
I say tomato. As
long as you come in and get a crepe.
Right. Just come on in.
I like that. So just a different branding and a different style of branding. Yeah. And what does Dame mean to French culture?
So the Eiffel Tower, the people that live in Paris have an affectionate name for the Eiffel Tower. They call it La Dame de Fer, which is the Lady of Iron. So we adopted the name Iron Dame because, again, I'm like an old punk from the early 2000s. So I'm like that. I resonated with that all day. So Iron Dame. Well, also, if we called it the Iron Lady, then it'd be like, what's this guy's obsession with Margaret Thatcher? And we can't have that. So
I was in England when Margaret Thatcher passed away.
Oh.
And I was going to a Liverpool match. I'm a huge Liverpool Football Club fan. And in the early 90s, there was the Hillsborough disaster. And it was a huge thing for Liverpool fans where, you know, a bunch of fans were crushed, unfortunately, at a stadium in Hillsborough. And they were celebrating when Margaret Thatcher passed away. It was a little bit different. I was like, well, I've never seen anything like this before, but that's just soccer culture for you on a side note. But, you know, Iron Dame has been a hit, and these pastries are absolutely incredible. So folks should definitely go in and get one at some point in time. But those businesses are right next to each other there on Townsend. And talk about the other businesses that are now in place. Now, we know that Michigan Brew Supply is no longer in that neighborhood, and they've moved on to some other things. But now, who is in those spaces?
So in that space that used to be Michigan Brew Supply is Bookmarks Bookshop. So she's got a cute, awesome little bookshop. I remember when she was coming in and she was bringing those huge shelves that she had, and I was like, where is she going to put these? It's such a small space. But her husband's quite handy, and they got it out. They got a whole little Narnia section. You ever been in there?
Yeah,
they got a cool little Narnia section that you can sit in. She does book clubs. So she and I have collaborated on her book club. She's been trying to get them over to Crepes Et Amis. Crepes Et Amis, Crepes Et Amis.
Tomato.
It's been nice. She'll bring some of her book clubs over there so that people can get a drink if they want and take advantage of our happy hour. So that's been really nice. And then there's Mr. Mustache. So Mr. Mustache has been there almost as long as we have.
Mr. Mustache is a legacy organization at this point.
Yeah, and he's awesome. The guy that Josh, he's a wild guy. I was talking to him yesterday, and he's like, what do you got? I was putting together a saw so I could fix the tile finally at Iron Dame, and he's so easy to talk to. You know what I mean? You can talk to him about anything, and he's always like, he's got his little opinion, but he's just hilarious and fun guy. So, but yeah, and also he's helped me out a lot. So if you go into Crepes Et Amis and you see that big Scrabble board, you know that? That was Josh. He made that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. It was just a gift. He was like, I wanted to make this Scrabble board. Here you go. I was like, this is awesome.
I bet he has an interesting story because he's filling a gap here in the community where people need their technology worked on, and it's very specific to, I know he does more than just this, but it feels like cell phone is his main gig over there, and it just is perfect. Like anyone in town needs their screen repaired, it's like, oh, just go over to Mr. Mustache. He'll take care of it. Yeah. And it's super cool.
I think he's completed the kind of the vibes of our street, actually, because it's like, so you go get your phone worked on, and then, oh, well, I got to wait around, so I might as well go browse a book or go get a cup of coffee if I want and sit outside. And it's been kind of all of our little stores have kind of complemented each other in that way.
Well, and as we begin to talk about the Downtownsend Terrace crowdfund, I think it's important to note some of our earlier renderings, and these are specifically ChatGPT renderings of the logo we were working on before we received some professional assistance in putting one together. All incorporated like a little screwdriver or a rolling pin or a cup of coffee, or just like different things, a book, and trying to set it off to note all four businesses. I think it's all a vibe that kind of rolls together, and you have everything going on. And you alluded to a need right in this conversation of those businesses cross over because it's really easy to grab a book and grab a crepe and grab a book and grab a coffee. Really easy to go get your phone worked on and come get a coffee or go look at books. And all of those businesses really play together and can complement one another in different ways and for very distinctly different offerings, but you can see the roadmap for how they fit together. And that's what makes this so interesting is that you are taking part in this year's MYPros Community Crowdfund, where you're not just doing it for yourself, and you didn't come in with a pitch that was just crepe centered or just Iron Dame centered. It was always centered around all four businesses. And what's the intentionality behind that for you?
Well, I mean, first of all, if my neighbors succeed, then I'll succeed. And I'm not saying that selfishly. It's just, I love those people.
Business
They're
101
awesome.
too.
Yeah. And it is. It's like the more people we can drive down our street. So, and it did, I was walking downtown to the common section, and I was like, man, it looks so awesome down here. And then I was walking back and I was like, oh, and there's our little street, and there's like some tables, and I was just like, I wonder, it'd be really cool if we could get everybody together and kind of talk about this. And then the crowdfunding campaign, and I was like, oh, light bulb. Yeah, that would be the opportunity. So And it was funny because I signed up for it last year, but I didn't really have any clear direction as to where I was going to go. And then this was the year where I was like, we can all benefit from this. So I talked to them. They were 100% on board. They let me use their renderings, and it's really cool. I think they're excited about it too. I honestly haven't had a chance to talk to them since we started the campaign. I want to, see where they're at, but yeah, they're like Trisha that owns Bookmarks she loved the renderings, and she's like, oh, this will be fantastic. And you just picture walking down Main Street, and then you pass Townsend, and then you look down and you see like this well-lit area with some cool seating, and it's like this true cafe-style French vibe that we could have right here in Midland is kind of what we're going for.
What's great too, and for those unaware what the MYPros Community Crowdfund is, it is a crowdfunding initiative that was started by MYPros in 2019. And one of those first businesses that we initially assisted was Pizza Baker with a pizza oven. And that year it was a very small contribution for a very small amount of matching dollars that was allotted from the Midland Area Community Foundation. And the way that works is the Midland Area Community Foundation has a standing gift that we give to the Midland Business Alliance's foundation each year to be trusted stewards of those funds to add on as a matching fund for the MYPros Community Crowdfund. It gives the community foundation an opportunity to support young professionals in our community and support business development when we only usually get to play in the realm of nonprofit work and then also community leadership. Mm-hmm. So it allows us to have a flexible, different stance within the community in terms of business. So we're huge supporters of that. And obviously the Midland Business Alliance, being the organization that houses Midland young professionals, is so crucial to this for their trust in young professionals and the work that they're doing to support people development and retention here in Midland County. And it was just an innovative way for us to give young people a stake in business in our community. Mm-hmm. And so it started off small. Since then, we've morphed into quite a large crowdfund, and we've helped numerous businesses, a few right near you in downtown Midland, a few of those being Northeast Outdoors. I mentioned Pizza Baker, but also Aviator Cookie Company. You can also take a look at Astor, which is now going to be changing hands, but that work was done in that space as well. Three Bridges Distillery. Also, you can look across town at Grove Tea Lounge, and then also Allied Group Fitness. So we've had some different stake in many different businesses, but this year was a big one for us because we're aiming at a $60,000 crowdfund. And what that means is we are asking for $25,000 in community contributions. And if you're listening right now, anytime between August 1st and August 31st of 2025, you can give right now at patronicity.com. Or if you head over to the MyPro section of the Midland Business Alliance website, that link will be on there. So it's $25,000 will allot for $35,000 in matching funds. And that will be one project for Townsend Street, which we are calling the Downtownsend Terrace crowdfund. And it's going to be awesome. So what will the actual effect once it's finished look like for you?
Well, so obviously the street, it'll be like a little mini streetscape, really. And so
some real placemaking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. It'll help our little street stand out just a little bit more, even with the lighting. I think the pergolas will look good. And then the flower, one thing that I really wanted with it was cohesion. I wanted cohesion with downtown. I want cohesion right on Townsend Street. And so to me, I was like, that's where those planters come into play. There's a lot of beautiful flowers throughout Midland, especially downtown. So if we can kind of like, hey, we're a part of that too, So that's really what we wanted to do, was kind of have those flower boxes tie it in, and then behind the flower boxes we can put benches so people can sit at them. You can sit and smell the flowers. You know what I mean? So we want to do that. We want to, and then with the pergolas, because obviously I have 2 restaurants downtown, so want to make sure that people have like a nice, cool, shaded spot to sit and eat their food and, again, smell the flowers. But we can line the whole street up to, and maybe even beyond, Mr. Mustache with these planter boxes.
And what's great too, when we're talking crowdfunds, and I'm pulling it up right now to bring up a little bit more of the information, when you're donating to a crowdfund, a lot of time there is a reciprocation of a gift. So let's start at the top. If somebody wants to go above and beyond and give $1,000, they can get, with up to 4 guests, an elevated pastry, crepe, and cocktail tasting, and a Downtownsend Love Fence lock. So the Love Fence will be one feature of this new mini streetscape, this new placemaking project as well. So can you explain the Love Fence to me real quick?
Yeah, so if you go to Paris, you cross a bridge, you're going to see locks everywhere. The whole idea behind it is you are with the person you love. You buy this lock, you put your name on it, lock it to the bridge, take the key and throw it in the Seine River. So we're not going to advocate littering with all these keys, but we still want to capture that vibe. So we're going to have, with the planter boxes on the front, or even maybe a wall like a partition wall that separates Iron Dame from Crepes Et Amis, this love lock fence. So the cool thing is if you give it that tier, then we'll actually make you a custom engraved lock with whatever you want on it. And we'll have like this, when we do the ribbon cutting for it, we're going to have a ceremonious, my lock goes on the love fence, and then it'll be cool. I think that'll be fun.
So with those locks, will that have a special row then for those who give in, or will they blend in with the other locks? And what would the lock look like for folks that give that specific amount of money that allow them a lock?
Yeah, so it's going to be it's going to be a standard lock, but it is going to be engraved with whatever they want on it. I do want that cordoned off, or like pardoned off, whatever the word is.
Like have some sort of signage that says like these were elite donors or something like that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, because that's just a step above the locks, right? So that's what it'll look like. I picture gold locks in my head. Awesome. I don't know why, but that's what I'm picturing.
Be cool if we could get like the most special lock that looks different. Yeah. And we got our friends at Ace Hardware around the corner too.
Oh, so. Yeah. I'll talk to Daniel.
So we'll hit up the Bazelles and be like, hey, what's going to be the most unique lock we can get for this thing?
Yeah.
So at the $1,000 is where someone can get that pastry, crepe, and cocktail tasting experience and that love fence lock. Mm-hmm. At $500, someone can receive a crepe per month for an entire year and 6 assorted pastries like the ones we are eating today, and 1 custom Downtownsend love fence lock. Mm-hmm. At the $250 is the lock. And then if we're at $100 or more, someone's going to receive a hoodie and a sticker. And is it 1 coffee as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we're looking at the hoodie and sticker, are those going to be, what type of hoodies? Is that going to be the Downtownsend logo? Is that going to be your logo?
Yeah, Crepes? That's going to be the Downtownsend logo.
Okay.
I think when we added professionals to the mix, I was like, oh, I love it.
It changed the branding a little bit.
Oh, this is so great. Yeah. So, and I loved it. I picture hoodies with that on it in Downtownsend or something to that.
Yeah, similar to like how I'm wearing a Downtown Midland shirt. It would be branded to Downtownsend specifically. For $25 or more, folks can still receive a sticker and a coffee, and those stickers will be Downtownsend as well. Cool.
And if I've got stickers for everything. I'll be happy to give out more stickers.
Awesome. So we're sticking to some cool branding here and really creating a place, and I think it's going to be an exciting moment when this crowdfund wraps up on August 31st, and we can hopefully celebrate a little bit, but there's still a long way to go, and we don't need to talk numbers because it'll be all over the place depending on when folks listen to this.
Yeah.
But we're on our way, and we've got really good momentum so far, and definitely encourage everyone to dive into this project because it's a community project, and this asset will be for the community. Yeah. It's not just something for you. It's not just something for YouTube businesses. It's not just something for you and your neighbors. Right. This is something all of us can share, and that's what is behind the spirit of a crowdfund. And we're really excited for the Downtownsend Terrace crowdfund this year.
Yeah, so am I. That's awesome.
And while we're transforming places and taking a look at ways that we can make a difference in the community and the way that you have made a difference on Townsend Street, the work is not done. You are also investing yourself in another area of town, an area of a town that was just featured on a recent episode of the Max Loves Midland Show, and an area of town that I work in, and it's the Circle area.
Yeah.
So Enjoy Bakery.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured you had a couple spots already. Let's add a third,
right?
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So that was one of those ones where my wife was like, "Don't do this." But we, when we looked at the numbers, she sat down with me and we were like, okay, we can actually make this work. So Kim, the former owner, she kind of changed careers. So she started working at I think Northwood or something like that. And so she had her career change, and it got to be where she couldn't be in 2 places at once. And so she approached me, and I was like, we'll consider this. And we sat down a number of times, and really cool people, her and her mom, they started that whole thing. And so when we bought it, we were like, I don't want to change what you guys have. What you have here is really cool, and we just want to keep that going. There's a lot of people going. I didn't even realize how many people came and went in there, and it's cool. And then the space that she has is really well set up, and it's nice and organized in there. So there were lessons I could learn from that as well. But yeah, so Kim wanted to sell it, and we were like, yeah, let's go for it. So we worked out a deal, and then as soon as we signed on the dotted line, I was ready to meet the neighbors, and I was, I met Natalia over at Sergey's, and Megan and Brett over at Boomerang, and even the gal over at the Stranded.
Yeah,
at Stranded, right?
Super cool
and
spot.
Then the guy that owns the pawn shop. So the one I haven't met is Plaid Giraffe, and I also haven't met the whoever owns Jazzercise.
Okay. They get busy over there.
I
see some crowds at the Jazzercise spot.
Yeah.
I'll look across the way, and it's all sorts of people walking in there. I don't know them either, so
it's wild. They're all so funny too.
We can Jazzercise before work someday.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'll do it.
I'll go.
No, it's cool. So we're talking about ways to make that area of the circle better, like that little quarter of the circle. So Natalia and I were talking about even giving blankets out to people so they can have a picnic and stuff, which of course wasn't my idea or our idea. I think we got that when we did the
Brad Tunney, who was a guest on the show at one point in time. Him and his wife.
It was his wife that said
explored
it.
this. Yeah, Haley Tunney explored that idea, and super interesting. And you've got
awesome.
that grassy area. We used to have the Circle Wine Garden there, so it's something that can be built upon, and it's the heartbeat of our town. You look at our city limit footprint, and it's right in the middle. It's got that circle right there, and we went away from that for a while, but I'm seeing a huge injection of young business owners in that space, or just business owners in general. I don't want to put an age on business ownership, but you guys coming in with Enjoy, and Kim was already doing an incredible job there. Boomerang's an awesome business. Yep. You mentioned Sergey's, and those are just the food-based spots. Yeah. And obviously there's your Plaid Giraffes. There are your Jazzercise spot. Yeah. There's a pawn shop right there as well. If you go across the circle next to us at the Community Foundation, we have a new tattoo shop over there. Down the way, there's like a brand new spot called Rebar. Been there about a year. Yeah. For folks to go work out at. Right. And then obviously Brad and Grant with Nord just right down the way. And there's so many cool businesses now that are starting to explode in that area. Yeah. And it's perfect timing because with streetscape development on the horizon or redevelopment on the horizon, now's a perfect time for y'all to get in there because it's a good time for change for that area. Right. Yeah. And could see a lot of cool streetscape stuff that could come there as well, just through the idea that there's reconstruction right now. Right. And we were part of the amenities project in Downtown Midland, but Downtown Midland completely changed when it went curbless. They added all sorts of stuff on top of the curbless streets. So I could see some really fun stuff happening in the circle, and we don't know what that's going to be yet, but I trust our city government to make good decisions on that. And I think we're going to have a really good time over in the circle the next few years.
I think it'll be fun. Yeah. I think it'd be really cool. Get some fun stuff out there. I've got ideas too, but everybody knows I have ideas.
So if anybody's listening and you're going to be complaining about construction over there in the next couple years, I understand and I feel your pain, but we hope it's for good things and good things only. So, and this entrepreneurial spirit has carried on throughout your entire life. When you were younger, you tried to make your own glasses at one point in time?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was do-it-yourselfer, right? Because I was broke. So.
And you're in a small town.
Small town.
So you got to do whatever you got to do.
So it's funny. It's that really started with my dad. We worked on all of our cars and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just like, well, if I can do this, I can do that. And we had all these tools. So I took the tray from a fax machine because my glasses broke. And so I took the tray from a fax machine and I traced out my lenses, and I of course I didn't have a hinge, so I just glued the eyepieces on, and that it did not work. It was so awful. But I tried.
Was not effective.
Oh no, yeah. Well, and the lenses couldn't even stay in the frames.
And now that entrepreneurial spirit has been passed on to your kids as well, what type of fun or mischief, because I know you used to get in a little bit of mischief in high school, what type of fun are they getting into in this same type of space?
So they direct their I don't know. I was angsty when I was a kid. My kids aren't.
Well,
like
I mean, you're a skater kid.
Yeah.
We were listening to I don't know what kind of music you were listening to, but Korn was on the radio.
Oh my gosh,
and we were watching people hit each other. On Sunday nights. It's high rating television.
Well, and then Jackass too.
Yeah, Jackass was enormous.
Fed, all sorts of craziness.
Yeah, and it's just we were just a bunch of angry young men riding skateboards, and it was part of the culture then.
Yeah. My kids are so much more well-rounded than I was. So my oldest son, he does gutters for a good friend of mine, and but he eventually wants to do it on his own. Wants to own his own gutter place. My middle son Brecken, he is trying everything he can. So he wanted to get into rug tufting, and so he's learning how to do rug tufting. In the meantime, he's like, I got to make a little bit of money, so he started. He's trying to put flyers together to clean people's driveways.
Okay.
So he's taking our power washer and he made a stop motion video for me to look at. Okay. That's hilarious. He did it yesterday, and he's just like, I got the driveway. It looks good. And then of course Aspen wants to take over Enjoy because she's 9 and ice cream and pink. So.
And ice cream's new for Enjoy as well.
Yeah, that's new. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Added some ice cream.
So head on over and get some ice cream at Enjoy.
I'm going to do it right after this.
Well, it's wonderful. And we talked about all of your incredible spots that you spend time here in Midland, primarily running and going to. But let's talk a little bit about to somebody who is looking to see Midland through their own lenses. And if they're trying to see Midland through their own lenses and they're planning a day and you want to give them some recommendations and maybe they see things similar to you, what kind of places would you want to go to? Or what would a day look like in Midland for you if you planned one?
So there's a lot to do in Midland. We got the Sky Bridge. Check that out over at Dow Gardens.
Oh, yeah, the Canopy Walk.
Yeah, the Canopy Walk. Sorry, I'm confusing it with something else.
You're good.
But that's great, especially if you have kids. And then any one of the small businesses around that area, you can take the circle, go get ice cream. You can, what is it? U.S. Coney and Cone.
U.S. Coney and Cone.
That place is fantastic.
Place rules. They have great burgers.
Yeah, so hit them up. If you want lunch, obviously go get a crepe, some French stuff on Downtownsend, right?
On Downtownsend.
Hit the Tridge. Tridge is a must-see. You got to see that. It's cool. And then any of the number parks. I think they have 80. There's 80-some parks in Midland.
Yeah, there's slightly over 80 parks. I believe it's more than Mount Pleasant, Saginaw, and Bay combined.
Nice.
And I'm pretty confident in that, actually. Yeah, so we the concentration of parks that we have is absolutely incredible. And the neighborhood parks.
Right.
Levi over at the Business Alliance, he plays on a basketball league in a neighborhood park on Thursday nights, just over by some apartment complexes.
Really?
And you have to walk in between houses to get out to the court.
Oh yeah,
so they all park on the cul-de-sacs and.
Yeah, my wife, she pointed that out to me. How many trails there are between houses that take you to little parks that are just kind of hidden.
They're pocket parks. You don't even see them.
It's so cool. Yeah, so I was walking through. We're in our neighborhood that we live in. There's 3 of them over there, and there's the upscale neighborhood, which is kind of closer to Wackerly, and then we live off of Jefferson, and so there's a couple parks over by Adams School right there. And right behind Adams School, I think actually there's a little park there. That's super cool. Definitely hit up the parks. And speaking of parks, City Forest. Got to go to City Forest.
City Forest is great.
Rent a bike at Ray's. Ride a mountain bike through City Forest.
People don't understand what type of great services we have to interact with nature, even beyond the obvious spots like the Nature Center or the Conservancy. We also have great businesses that support interaction with nature as well. You mentioned Ray's, and a lot of people might not even understand that you can rent bikes and you can go ride at City Forest for the day or an afternoon, an hour, whatever you decide.
Right.
Or you can go downtown to Northeast and rent a kayak. And it was really cool at River Days to see so many people kayaking down by the water, and you can interact with nature really any way you want here.
No, it's great. That's one thing. I mean, a couple of years ago when I was real fit, I was riding my bike on the rail trail. All the way, I rode to Clare and back one time.
Yeah, amazing.
It's crazy, yeah.
So if someone wanted a nightcap, where would you send them for a drink?
Ooh, Three Bridges. Yep, Three Bridges.
One of your neighbors down there.
Yeah. We're teaming up with them for that event we have tomorrow for MYPros.
Very cool. Yeah. So after you hear this, we will have had a MYPros event actually on Townsend Street, and we're going to team up and we're going to have some fun and celebrate the fact that this crowdfund is going on.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to that. Could there be any future where I could come in and grab a cocktail with my crepe?
Oh, so we're working on it.
Oh, I don't want you to say. I don't want you to announce anything that you're not supposed to.
Well, I mean,
Get excited, people.
I want mimosa.
Happen.
I want a mimosa with my crepe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like mimosa flights, maybe. Depends on how I'm feeling.
Absolutely.
But no, that's what we're working on right now is getting that kind of licensing going. So
would you lean into some French style drinks
and
do some stuff that's a little different?
Yeah, French and Italian style. That'd be cool. Yeah, some European stuff. Yep, definitely want to do that. Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate you sharing so much with me today about your businesses and all this cool stuff you have going on, and talking about your days as a hellion running the streets of Columbiaville, Michigan, and your kids taking up the mantle as entrepreneurs. And we've had a great conversation, but I want to know, as you look forward to the future of Midland, and I'm sure we've touched on a lot of this stuff, what are some of your hopes and dreams for our community?
So for Midland, I just like, it's tough because I feel like it's right where I want it right now, and just maybe expand on what it already is. You know, you think about those little pocket parks, that's great for kids, especially families if you need to get out. Yeah. You know, one of the things that my wife and I are back and forth on is I grew up in the country. I want to live in the country still. And she's like, I love the city for what it is. And ultimately, we're going to go with her on that one because there is so much to do in the city. And I sometimes take it for granted, but it is pretty awesome living here with everything that we have to do. And the nice thing is it's still, like we had talked about earlier, it's a small town with big city vibes, but that means everything's 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want. 10 minutes, be there in 10 minutes and do it. You want to go down to the Tridge and you're on the other side of town, head down Eastman and go to the Tridge if you want. It's not a far drive. So as far as that, really, I guess my vision for Midland is for more entrepreneurs to come in and realize that you have resources here, and that places like the Midland Business Alliance, like MYPros, and like the Community Foundation, they're all these organizations that are put in place to help somebody who has a dream, a business dream, to fulfill that dream. So what I see for Midland, more entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being honest, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah.
And for those who haven't heard yet or haven't got this through your brain, the Downtownsend Terrace Community Crowdfund. Check it out. Head over to the Midland Business Alliance's website. Head to the MyPro section of the website and find that link. So once again, Brandon, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being here with us today on another great episode of the Max Loves Midland Show. We are happy to be back with you on more of a regular schedule. We will still take some holidays off and some time off here and there, but you will hear from us weekly for the most part from here on out, and that is a beautiful thing. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, but you'd rather listen in the car, go to your favorite service. Odds are we're there. If you're listening to us on a podcast service right now, but you'd much rather have this on your television set or on your computer screen, head over to YouTube. You can find full episodes there. If you want to interact with all of our clips, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, we are all over the place. So make sure you check us out. We've had thousands upon thousands of events posted on our community calendar. And if you want to get to know Midland a little bit better, make sure you check out our community dashboard, and you can find out a lot of great things about our community, as well as resources that can help you out as a community member. And if you're new to town, we'd like to welcome you and thank you for being on board. If you're listening on the radio on WSGW, we are so happy to have you as well. We are going to be inside your cars, inside your homes, and coming out of your radio box at least once or twice a week on WSGW, and we appreciate that partnership as well. So as we always say at the end of the Max Loves Midland Show, if you are building a bridge and it does not work for you, build a tridge. Subscribe wherever you consume media. Max Loves Midland is your entertainment, resources, and collective improvement hub for Midland County. Plan your next adventure in Midland at maxlovesmidland.com.